Gold Channel. I'm Big Dad 06, your host. Today is Saturday, March 31st, 2012, and with me I have Eric Radez. He is co-chairman, director, and organizer of the Chicago Resource Expo. The Chicago Resource Expo is one of the oldest natural resource conferences in the United States. The goal of the conference is to offer opportunities to learn about new and undervalued companies in the natural resource industry. The Expo, originally known as Natural Resource Conference and Exhibition, was started in 1977 by Rich Radez. In the 30-plus years since that time, Rich and his son Eric created a unique format that focuses on resource companies and provides maximum exposure to both investors and sponsors. The next Chicago Resource Expo will be held on April 27th and 28th of this year, 2012. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great today, Kyle. Thanks. How are you?
Good, good. Tell us about the Chicago Resource Expo and how it got started. How did your dad come about founding this great resource?
Well, it's quite a bit different story than most of the other, or maybe all the other events out there in the conference industry today. Dad started the show back in the late 70s, at a time when inflation was really creeping up and gold was starting to really spike for the first time, and the world was changing a lot at that time, and so he saw a trend that came alive in that time, which got a lot of people involved in mining stocks that had previously never had in their lifetime. So he saw an opportunity there, and he was a stockbroker at the time out of Indianapolis, and he saw an opportunity to use that wave of new interest to get new clients for his brokerage firm. So our conference was started with that idea in mind. It was started as a way for my dad to get new brokerage clients. So our show wasn't started out of a necessity to start a conference business to make money from the conference. It was founded as a way for him to get new clients and to also educate the clients on the market. So he did that for years through a lot of hard times, during the 80s and 90s when nobody cared about gold once again. Mm-hmm. So he kept through it all through those times. He's been a gold bug his whole life. He's definitely one of those rare dinosaurs, as many people like to call him, but he's a pretty sharp guy. So he started it then and kept it going for years with that idea in mind, and he built a really good following over the years of retail followers, and many of them which became clients, a lot of which that didn't, but all that became friends. And that's how our main base of followers, public followers, was originated. And because of that, a lot of the people that come to our show are really educated when it comes to investing in junior mining companies specifically. That's always been our show, has been more geared towards the junior miners and companies with a lower market cap.
Okay.
So that's kind of where our show started, and here in the 2000s, as we've gotten into another bull market with gold, it's made our show grow quite a bit, and I'm glad to see where it's going today. It's getting busier all the time.
I noticed that your conference is a semi-annual event. You hold it twice a year, I guess once in April and once in September. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
How do you go about picking the companies that are involved that actually present at the conference?
Many of the companies that come to the show, we've had some sort of relationship with over the past couple of years, 10 years, 15 years, many of them we've known for a really long time. So we obviously always invite those companies to return to keep the investors aware of updates about what the company is doing, progress, etc. But we also do go out and visit the other trade shows, and we do our homework and see who the new companies are and what they have going. Where are they in the world? So we do try to kind of somewhat pick a little bit as regards who comes to our show, and we try to keep it pretty focused on precious metals and oil, energy, uranium and rare earth elements.
Mm-hmm. And what about the speakers that you have? How do you determine who's going to be a speaker, a keynote speaker at one of the conferences?
Well, we put out questionnaires to our public attendees at the end of every show to make sure they had a good time and see if there's any recommendations. And one of the spaces that we provide is who would you like to see at upcoming events? And so we try to take those recommendations and get those guys to come to be a part of our show. Mm-hmm. Plus, we do have a good core of a few guys that are local Chicago newsletter writers and analysts that are regulars at our show, and they have been for some time.
Okay. How does your show differ as opposed to shows out here on the West Coast and shows maybe in Florida on southern East Coast?
Sure. Well, first of all, our show it's a boutique show, so it's the size of our show is regulated. We do not let any more than 25 companies participate in our event. We do that on purpose. That makes sure that every single company that comes has their time in the spotlight. Many of the other shows I've been to, there might be a few hundred companies there. And yes, those shows might get 4,000 or 6,000 people to walk through them, but how many people actually stop and have meaningful conversations with the CEOs of those mining companies? How many of those people actually want to make an investment in your company instead of just getting the tchotchke you got at your table or talking to the good looking girl you got at your booth? Which those things are fine too. I'm not saying they're bad. But, it's got me in the booth a few times. I'll just be brutally honest. But our show, we do keep it small and intimate. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets their time to make a 20-minute presentation at our show. We serve several buffet meals right in the center of our exhibition hall. So, that gets that room crowded with people eating and relaxing. And, we have free cocktail receptions a couple times. I mean, we do things like that big shows simply couldn't do because they're too big and it wouldn't work for them, logistic wise. So we're able to tailor our show to be a little bit more of a comfortable feel. It's not in a huge venue. We do it at a Holiday Inn Convention Center in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, which is right by the O'Hare Airport. It's a 15-minute cab ride from the airport, extremely convenient. We actually have free shuttle service from the airport to the hotel. Rooms are only $89 a night. That I can tell you, if you go to a New York show, you won't be paying $89 a night for a room. You might be paying $89 for room service, but not the room. Yeah. So, we have the ability to get a really, I wouldn't call it a blue-collar crowd totally, but we do get a larger blue-collar crowd than I will say I see at a lot of the coastal events.